Hey guys, it's Andrew Fizakis, the Night Sky here, and there was one really interesting story I wanted to share with you guys, and that has to do with Saturn, one of my favorite planets to show people at star parties because it's just beautiful with its famous rings. It's the true Lord of the Rings. But this week it made news because scientists using some of the largest telescopes in the world, they actually pointed these enormous monster telescopes at Saturn, and they've discovered new moons circling this gas giant. Now what that means is they've actually discovered 20 new moons, and now Saturn has become the record holder for the number of moons it actually hosts. Jupiter held that title of the planet in the solar system having actually the most moons at 79, and that there was a discovery made just last year by the same group of astronomers with Jupiter, where they bumped that tally up by quite a bit to 79. But now with 20 new discoveries at the planet Saturn of new moons, it now holds the record of having 82 moons orbiting Saturn. It's incredible. Now, all of these moons are about 5 kilometers across or 3 miles across. They're very, very small, and they're very faint. I mean, you can't see them with backyard telescopes. This is something where the very largest observatories in the world had to come into play to actually be able to make these discoveries and see them. But they're really neat, small little worldlets that orbit Saturn, and what's very cool is that 17 of them actually orbit the wrong way. By that I mean they orbit the opposite way from where most of the other moons of Saturn orbit. Now what does this mean? It probably means that they originated at a different, much later than when Saturn had most of its moons. So that means that these 17 moons were probably gravitationally captured by Saturn much later in its life. When exactly, we don't know. Might have happened maybe 2 billion years ago, 3 billion years ago. Remember that the planets are no more than 4.5 billion years old, including the Earth. That's when most of these planets in the solar system, most objects were born, 4.5 billion years ago. And so when we find most of the moons out there, they orbit all in the same direction. So we know that they were all born at around the same time as the planet itself. Very interesting. Now, also very cool is that you and I, people, the general public, get a chance to actually name these moons or suggest names. Now, you can't just name the moons of Saturn any old name you like. They actually have to follow a strict protocol of naming objects, celestial objects, and that's actually done by the International Astronomical Union. It's actually an international governing body of astronomers that actually determine what those names would be. This is something cool. So you can actually tweet out your name suggestions. They have to follow certain mythology characters. So in this case, with Saturn's new moons, the expectations are that it would be either Inuit mythology, giants of Inuit mythology, Norse mythology, or Celtic mythology. Now I'm going to give a nice little article link below this video, and with the instructions also of how to go about naming them and how you can suggest naming them. Who knows, maybe they'll take your suggestion, so why not give it a try? Look up those mythologies of those different cultures and see if you can come up with a neat name for some of these moons. So anyway, that's what I just wanted to share with you guys. 20 new moons for Saturn, and they're all about 5 kilometers across. Again, thank you so much for spending a few moments of your time with me again. The Night Sky guy, Andrew Fizakis, signing out. Bye-bye.